When you're in ketosis, what's the first thing that you usually grab when you're starting to get hungry? You usually grab some kind of almond, pistachio, macadamia nut. You grab some kind of tree nut. They're just super easy, they're convenient, and they're generally speaking keto safe. But I want to break down which nuts you should be eating more of and which ones you should start avoiding. I'm going to break down the do's and don'ts of ketosis nuts. So here we go. Let's start with the do's. First one off is going to be a pecan. Why do we want pecans? Simply put, they are extremely low carbohydrate, but they're also the highest fat content of any nut that's out there. 70% of the overall macronutrient profile of pecans comes from fats. And we're talking predominantly omega-9 fats. We're talking about oleic acid. Omega-9 is extremely unique. You see, the reason that omega-9s are so unique is because they inhibit lipid peroxidation. Lipid peroxidation, if you've watched other videos of mine, you know that that is essentially when a fat becomes rancid, a fat becomes bad, and it is an inflammatory response. So if we have lipid peroxidation occurring, that is causing a breakdown of the fatty cell membrane of a cell, therefore making it so the cell ultimately dies. Now additionally, oleic acid, those omega-9s, are involved in the genetic process of fat burning, so they actually can help dictate fat burning at a much higher level. They also help produce myelin, which is the sheath that surrounds a nerve. All of these things are super important when you're in ketosis because you want to be taking care of the nervous system, you want to be obviously supporting your fatty acid oxidation, and you want to be controlling inflammation levels. So that's simply put is why pecans are number one. The next one, macadamia nuts. And if you've watched my videos before, you know I'm a huge proponent of macadamia nuts. But there's a couple reasons why. For one, super high in flavonoids, so they actually convert into antioxidants inside your body. Number two, super perfect profile omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acids. No imbalance. You see, the standard American diet has way too many omega-6 fatty acids and not enough omega-3s. These little buggers, they have a perfect balance of omega-3 and omega-6. But they also have something really interesting that you may not have heard of before, and that is omega-7, okay? Palmitoleic acid. Palmitoleic acid or omega-7 fatty acids actually help your body use omega-3s that much better. They also support fat loss from a multitude of different angles too. But without omega-7s, omega-3s don't really do their job as well. You don't need a lot of them, but you get enough out of just a serving of macadamia nuts to help those omega-3s do their job. They help your body reduce inflammation by helping out the omega-3s so much that the Cleveland Clinic even did a study that proved that just 30 days of consuming omega-7 fats caused a 44% reduction in CRP levels, C-reactive protein. That is phenomenal. A 44% reduction ultimately in inflammation markers. If we reduce inflammation when we're in ketosis, we're going to have better results. Inflammation by itself is terrible, and ketosis by itself helps inflammation. But if you can have these macadamia nuts that are truly going to help that even more, you're going to get even more of a benefit out of ketosis. Okay, now let's talk about the don'ts. Now these aren't ones that you necessarily have to avoid entirely, but I highly recommend that you're a little bit more cognizant of how much you consume them. The first ones are almonds. I hate to break it to you, but almonds are way overrated. Okay, they're super high in omega-6s, so they have kind of the wrong profile of fats that you want, but additionally, they have something known as phytic acid in them. And that phytic acid is a big no-no because what it does is it binds with minerals in your body and makes it so your body has a hard time absorbing minerals. Now, when you're in ketosis or you're fasting, minerals are a precious commodity. You don't want to lose those. So you don't want to be eating almonds that are going to make it so you don't absorb minerals. And additionally, what ends up happening once those minerals bind with the phytic acid, they convert into phytates. And phytates are called anti-nutrients that make it so your body doesn't absorb fats, proteins, or carbs. So it ends up making it really, really tough and truly an anti-nutrient in every sense of the word. It makes it so you're not absorbing your food nearly as well. Which leads me to my next one, cashews. And I'll be honest, they're probably the tastiest one. The thing is, they really shouldn't even be on this list. They're not technically a nut. They're technically a fruit. They come from the same family as mangoes and poison ivy. Sounds kind of crazy, right? But why are they so bad? Well, first and foremost, they're super high in carbs. I mean, they flat out aren't going to fit the macronutrient breakdown that you need to be on to really stay in ketosis successfully. So if you're eating a lot of cashews, you're going to get kicked out of ketosis anyway. They also contain something that is known as an aflatoxin. An aflatoxin is created by a fungi, so it's really kind of a result of mold. And it happens with certain plants that are grown in different areas of the world that really have high humidity levels and are much more at a potential to develop mold. Well, these aflatoxins are an extremely liver toxic compound, so they cause a lot of inflammation in your liver. Well, here's the thing. When you're in ketosis, You need your liver to be functioning well so that it can process ketones and create the beta-hydroxybutyrate, create the acetoacetate that your body needs to get in the shape that you want to be in. So these little suckers right here can stop and slow down that process. You're slowing down your liver's effectiveness and efficiency. Now again, that doesn't mean that you don't eat these ever, but you do want to be cognizant of them. You want to make sure that you're eating them in moderation. Err on the side of these, much more over these. As always, for Keto Facts, make sure you keep it locked in on my channel and make sure you comment if you have any ideas for future videos so that we can make sure that we're producing the best stuff that's catered for what you need. I'll see you in the next video.